Hello, Amber Council, and welcome to another edition of Acquisitions Intoxicated. As many of you know, my co-host and friend, Jerry Holkins, is not with us today because he is down under at PAX Aus. But we do have some special guests joining us, the Adams, Adam and Adam, from Game to Grow.
Hi, I'm Adam Johns.
I'm Adam Davis.
And Game to Grow and Adam are good friends of myself and the company, and we wanted to have them on because they're doing some really, really wonderful stuff with role-playing and what you're creating locally in the community. And I cannot do it nearly as much justice as you guys can.
I can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, but especially for our new, viewers and viewers who haven't heard of what you're doing.
Oh, sure.
Could you give a rundown of what Game to Grow does and how how it affects people's lives?
Yeah. So Game to Grow is a nonprofit that's dedicated to using games of all kinds for therapeutic, educational, and community growth. Most primarily, what we're really well known for is using role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons to help kids and teens build social skills.
Awesome.
So we're now running 8.
We're running 8 groups a week
Almost
right now.
9.
We have 60 plus kids coming every week to play Dungeons and Dragons to help them come out of their shell, make friends, build social skills.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're just expanding to Tacoma.
Really?
So we're growing more and more. I just had a phone call today to talk about expanding to maybe run groups for veterans. So it's an exciting time for Game to Grow.
Very cool.
Plus, we recently ran a Kickstarter not too long ago called Critical Core. That's a box kit designed for new role-playing game players who are trying to get into the interest and into the hobby, designed to really be easy to approach and easy to learn, and with outcomes for the modules and for the facilitators guide specifically oriented at helping with autism-related challenges.
Yeah, and you kind of walked me through the modules themselves, and it was a super interesting way to look at it and really way to break down a module and to get a DM or GM to really jump in quickly and be able to tell a tale.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I'm really excited about with it is specifically the module design, which is, I think, a really unique approach to how to present a storyline to people, so that it's not just a world, but it's actually plot points kind of laid out for you with lots of space for the game master to kind of fill in the pieces in between or fill in the parts that could be flexible.
Yeah,
which is one of the things that we love so much about role playing games is being able to pivot when you need to with the way the table responds to something.
Right, and that kind of directly translates to helping social situations too, right? Especially with kids that have autism and things like that. I'm sure that you're really, maybe I'm not saying this correctly, but you're giving them kind of free range to go and do whatever makes them feel comfortable in a social space?
It's a mix, because what we do is a lot of very directive applications.
Yeah.
So we purposefully craft the things in the game to build real world areas of social growth for the participants. And so sometimes I will make an encounter in the game that is designed to pull somebody out of their shell, even if it makes them a little uncomfortable, challenges them a little to do that. Yeah. But we'll also need to be able to pivot to or adjust the story or the pieces inside of it or the NPCs to the way that the players are responding to it, which really every good game master should be having a willingness to be able to do.
Yeah.
So it is sort of a mix in between those, and that's really what the module design is supposed to be working on.
The Critical Core really ties into our wide mission. So running groups and actually helping kids directly, direct service, is only one part of our organization's mission. So we like to run groups. That's a big part of our mission. The other part is training and consultations, where we help other therapists, doctors, teachers, etc., run groups in their own communities.
That's awesome.
So we've done trainings and consultations around the world, and when we've talked to people about getting their own group started, most of them are really excited about it, but are kind of under-experienced with role-playing games.
Right.
So Critical Core is supposed to be not just for a neuroatypical population, but also for brand new facilitators who are excited about the work, but don't really have the time to invest in learning all about Dungeons and Dragons or another role-playing games. Critical Core is...
That's fantastic. So they're literally just going to be able to receive this box, open it up, and then craft this.
Start jumping in and playing. Yeah.
That's amazing. That to me is just perfect.
Yeah.
Very cool. So let's talk about what we're here to do today.
Should we talk about some beer and stuff?
Thinking about something else. But precious chat, precious Amber Council, and all the new people watching. You may have stumbled into us ass backwards or whatever way you have. But what we do here is what we like to think of as the hero's journey for a beer.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. The Bureau's journey?
No.
That's not great.
I can hear the groans coming
There it is. There it is, folks.
through the internet.
You guys are getting like a little sneak peek of what it is to sit at my table as a game.
You've already been sent to the word for it. Congratulations.
Oh, that's
No, what we do is we take this small little idea and then of a beer and then craft it into something wonderful, and hopefully it reaches its full destiny and we get to drink it.
I like it, actually. Have you guys done, maybe you've already done this and I haven't seen it. Have you done like class beers? Like based on all the
We have
classic
not
D&D
actually,
classes?
so we've never really done like class specifics. We've only done it really through characters from probably the AI, mostly the AI universe. So if somebody was a fighter, if Jim's the wizard, it would be done through that medium. But we've never really done, that's a good point. We've never did a specific class and that was it, so.
I want to try the musical.
The musical,
right?
The bard beer? Yeah.
Alliteration aside, it's great.
Barbarian?
Barbarian.
Yeah, beard bardian, mad bardian.
I'm going to spend so much time in that fort.
I know. You are.
yeah,
you might as well
terrible.
just build yourself one. But the first thing we do is we are going to put our grains in and craft the beer, or actually brew the beer from last week, which was Mull and Void, which was an amber ale that we'll be putting mulling spices into. So make it kind of festival, holiday spirits that'll, get all the spices flowing. But what was interesting was the chat, they wanted to do something a little different, and they went in a wildly different way with the yeast. So instead of, a classic American ale yeast or, a London ale yeast for this, we went with a Belgian strong ale. So this is going to give it some incredibly weird fruity esters and flavors. But first, why don't someone take the grain bag and we'll pour the grains in there.
You do the honors, sir.
Oh, I get to do it because I'm sitting in the middle.
Yeah.
Cool. Just the whole bag?
Throw the whole bag in. So this is filled with Maris Otter, is the primary grain that's going to be in here.
Yes, let's see.
And that's going to give it a very biscuity and toffee-like flavor.
Oh man, I love the
Right?
dust or whatever coming up from the
grain dust.
From the grain dust. Classic grain dust.
Yeah, so what we have in these grains is it's going to be a lot of Maris Otter is about 75% of this grain bill. And then you have Caribbean, which is going to give us a lot of head retention and body to the beer, but a little bit of sweetness, and then roasted barley, which is going to turn it incredibly dark and give us a toasty flavor.
The smell is great.
Right?
Can I?
Yes.
I wish there was like a smell-o-vision. I wish everybody on the stream could smell,
exactly.
could experience it.
So,
is it okay for me to touch
Yeah, Jerry usually sticks his head right in the bag.
Sure, he just rolls around.
It's like a horse eating oats. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, go for it. You can.
Oh, that's so good. Adam, you gotta touch this.
And
It's
you can
so-
actually
it's so
chomp on
wonderful.
some of it if you want. It's
This
just
is
great.
I do actually want to chomp on it.
So you'll taste a lot of the roasty characteristics and some sweet, oat.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. It is a little sweet. Mm-hmm. It's really dry.
Like breakfast cereal.
It's like breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
It is like, it's a little like a grape nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Grape nuts has like that sweetness to it.
Yeah.
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 It's very much like
Similarly, I don't know why anybody would eat either of them.
Right?
No offense, grape nuts.
that. Grape nuts not
Grape nuts.
not a sponsor.
Yeah. We won't have their sponsor or anything.
Sorry, that's my fault.
But next, we get the hops. So we are going to be using Tettnang, which is a classic German hop. This is going to be very spicy, very earthy in its flavoring. If I can open the bag. There we go. So you can give this a whiff. You'll get a little bit of dank from it too.
So I've never. Whoa.
Right?
Yeah.
Is dank a technical term?
It is the scientific definition.
It's like one of the flavors is sweet.
Yeah, sweet,
savory,
dried,
umami, dank.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
That is very strong smelling.
I like it.
And that's what's going to really, so the sweetness of the malt is balanced out by the bitterness of the hops that we're going to be putting into this.
It does smell bitter, but it also smells like a little, I want to say,
Dank?
Dank.
well, it's dank. It's dank. It smells dank. Yeah.
I brewed beer on my own twice.
Yeah.
Both time it did not turn into anything more than like malt flavored tea.
That's yeah.
So it's pretty malty.
It was pretty malty, yeah, and didn't quite work out. So I'm excited to actually see this process. This device you have here is next level.
Yeah, this is amazing. So one, you are in the 100 percentile with all of us. Our first beers never, that's what they all turn into.
I had a friend who brewed his own beer for his own wedding for the first time, and it was perfect.
Was it?
And I was so mad because it was
oh,
so perfect.
man.
All unlabeled, brown bottles.
Yeah, but the stars aligned for that. It was the wedding,
Sure.
You're right.
At that point, that's just
Yeah.
fate. That's
yeah, exactly.
That's a different hand coming in and influencing that.
Stinky, dirty carboy garage.
I remember my first beer, I had a boil over where you throw the hops in and it just basically turns into a giant volcano because the hops shoot right out. It's fun. So
I broke the thermometer in mine.
that's impressive.
So I just put the glass and it just sank to the bottom and cracked. So there was now those little beads rolling around the bottom, which I had to figure out, is that lead? Will that kill whoever I'm trying to serve this to?
It adds character, right?
It didn't kill anybody.
This beer's really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't lead.
Just call it lead shot beer and you're done, right?
I think I named it after the broken glass. I think it was like a broken glass.
Sure.
Or something.
And everybody
Shattered
thought it's a
amber.
really great name, just not literal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To their demise. No. So what we'll do is we're going to put 3/4 of an ounce of these hops into the machine.
Do you just buy a packet of hops?
Yep. You go to any of your local homebrew shops and they'll have little packets of hops for you. I mean,
all with
tons and tons of
like,
different characteristics.
characters.
Yeah, so where this is, spicy and earthy, you'll get some that are minty, some that are more stone fruit in flavor. You can get grapefruit, some that taste like lemon. The taste vary just greatly, especially now because we're in this golden age of brewing that people are just experimenting with hops and you're getting a lot of new different flavors coming out. So.
Oh, sure. For the stream, this says aroma, mild and pleasant, with balanced earthy, herbal, and flora aroma overtones.
Aroma overtones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it. We dank. That's actually
Dank.
that's the better description.
That's
of
actually
dank.
the breakdown. If you look up
Yeah.
dank in the dictionary, that's what it says.
Well, we always joke because hops are actually from the cannabinoid family, so you always get a little bit of dank. It's kind of dank.
Kind of in there.
So what you can do is measure that out. Give us 3/4 of an ounce.
Let's see if I can. 3/4 of an ounce.
Yeah, it should.
Do you ever play with putting the hops in at different times?
Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, this, if we do some at, during boil, during flame out, this machine can actually, the Pico can handle it at all different times, which is wild. You just program it.
This was Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
I almost joined in.
Yeah.
Almost. Solve all my homebrew problems.
Let me tell you, this got me back into doing homebrew because it's just easier, right? Like normally it's 8 hours of a process with a ton of setup for all of my kettles and all that. This is like a microwave. You literally just put it in, program it through the back end system, and press play, and it's done.
That's so amazing.
Cool.
Yep. So these are the hop chambers, and this is where it gets, so you can do the different additions, right? You can do as many additions as you want, but also the machine will only fill up the water to a certain point to the chamber that you want it in. So let's say you did want to do a 5-minute boil of hops. You might add it to depending on how many hops you have, you might add it to the second or third chamber, and that won't get filled and brought in until those 5 minutes. Same with whirlpooling and everything else.
It's going on my Christmas list.
Right? And
I did exactly 3/4 of an ounce
the engineer in you.
to the third significant figure.
Perfect. All right.
I don't know that engineered beers would be any better than, because it feels like so much of it is an art.
it's a weird mix of art and science that's really, really fun.
It does remind me a bit of baking.
Yeah. I mean,
which I can see, like, beer's bready and it's very...
Exactly. It's a mix of everything. And what's amazing is it's been going on for generation upon generation upon generation. And we've just finally gotten to the point where we've added a lot of math to the equation.
Oh, sure.
Right?
I watched a documentary about beer with the argument that beer is the reason why writing was created, was because Egyptians were trying to figure out how to do it again and now they have a tradable commodity.
That's amazing.
I saw it on Netflix. It was like somebody left a vase of grains in the ground, and then it rained, and then like the natural yeasts and things combined into it to brew something that resembled something good. So then the Egyptians were like, we got to figure out
we got to do this
how
again.
do we do this again? Let's draw some symbols on a slate and keep track of this.
That is wild. Yeah, and I know somebody had mentioned, I think somebody in the chat, that they kind of found one of those old scrolls or text or whatever it was, and they were able to recreate some of the beers from thousands of years ago. So
an original beer recipe.
Yeah, right.
The original beer recipe.
Yeah, seriously, but we actually, it's interesting because a lot of breweries even try to recreate beers from even just 100 years ago, from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. God, that's weird to say.
Yeah.
But
crazy long time ago. Early
1900s. Yeah. So, but they even that is almost lost in time, just because people were brewers and not everything got written down. 100 years, added a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So it's wild to see.
We are basically in the most documented generation of people. Everything we do is documented. This is being documented right now. If somebody wants to recreate this beer,
they can, and then they can see our faces and. Oof. I'm sorry, future people.
Sorry for the future when you dig this up.
But Adam, I'm going to have you do the honors. Now, this is a time-honored tradition that Mr. Holkins has been both successful and colossally failed at. It's just inserting this into the Pico machine.
You get to do this. Yeah.
All right. Where's the Pico machine?
Actually, go right around the front here.
I got a cord following me around this thing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what we do. I'm gonna stay.
You stand there and watch me fail.
I'm gonna watch you fail at this. No, I'm gonna watch you succeed.
Thank you.
So
phenomenally.
rotate the box because it goes in the hops first.
Make sure yeah.
Just chat.
Keeping the
shirt tail
above my plumber zone over there.
Chat, just so you know, take note, if Adam gets this the first time, we may have to give Jerry shit next week.
Does that officially make him more powerful than Jerry? Is it like a transitive property thing?
So.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Highlander.
No pressure.
Right? Like all the energy, all the quickening comes into him.
It'll happen in this moment.
Yeah.
I'll be Prince of the Universe.
Yeah.
So go ahead and,
That was a Highlander 2 reference.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm with you.
All right. Moment of truth. Ready?
I think this is a design flaw.
Nobody gets it the first time.
Okay. What is the... There it is.
Bingo!
There's a rail there.
Yep. All right. So this is how easy this is to use the Pico brew. You're literally, all you're doing is putting the step filter right in, and then going to the automated menu, because you've already programmed the recipe in from the back. And all you have to do, null and void, is the recipe. So it takes about 6 hours to do the whole thing.
Okay. Mom, Dad, if you're watching, I'll take one of these for Christmas.
And that's it.
Wow.
And in 6 hours, your beer's going to be done.
That's amazing.
That is incredible.
And
Should we watch?
we could have 6 hours, guys. So, that's all we have to do. So, I would encourage you getting a Pico because it's...
That's fantastic.
This is why I don't...
We can't all succeed our first time.
Right? Exactly. This is my first time. I'm glad we had first
Doing the
together.
door.
Yeah, we did.
I feel touched to be a part of this experience.
There we go. All right. So where's Jeff? God, I would expect he would have sprung through that door like lightning.
Just burst.
Yeah, he's usually
Just burst through.
Kool-Aid Man.
Like the Kool-Aid Man.
Pretty much. That's usually what happens. If not, he has a teleporter that just is remarkable for getting him over here from the other side of the office. But this is what I am extremely excited for. Jeff! Adam, you have developed a beer rating system, and it's almost gamified in a sense. And I have been told about this. This is the stuff of legend.
I'm glad.
I am excited to finally learn about this. There, Jeff.
I'm ready.
Oh, you better be, because this is going to be amazing.
I want to learn how to correctly taste beer. Apparently, I've been doing it wrong my whole life.
And you also put it into a book format, which is even freaking cooler. So can you go through the system and how you created it and how we do this?
Yeah, so this system was created by myself and a friend of mine named Wilder Heath when we were out in Montana. We actually drove on a road trip to Montana to bring back growlers of beer for a party. And while we were in Montana, we sampled like 85 different tasters across a week. And we had to figure out...
It sounds like a lot, but it's
really not.
It's really not a lot. Yeah.
Between the two of us.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out what made the beers we were bringing back. We were hosting a party at Kiss Cafe in Ballard, near the old Penny Arcade offices. And we had to figure out what standard we wanted to judge these beers to bring them back.
Yeah.
And we realized a couple of different things. All beer is good.
Classic, yep.
Some beers are really good.
Yep.
And some beers are really bad.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much true. The other thing about...
I think that holds true for 100% of beer. Yeah.
Right. Another thing that's true about drinking beer is it's very contextual.
Yeah.
Where you are and how you're feeling about it
Absolutely.
changes the way that you experience
Yeah.
it. And also, I don't really care what flavors are in the beer. I just care about what you think about it when we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So the CUD system is a 3-point scale.
Okay.
Craftsmanship, uniqueness, and drinkability.
Okay.
And the idea here is that if you imagine going to an art museum, there is some art that you think is very well made, but you don't like it.
Right.
And that's true about beer too. There are some beers that I go, wow, this is an amazing Belgian. I'm not crazy about Belgians.
Yeah.
But I can respect a well-made Belgian. I can go to an art museum and see a beautiful still life and not at all want to hang that in my house.
Exactly.
So the same thing is true about beer. So the scale is craftsmanship, which is a 4-point scale of, is this beer well made? And the way I take craftsmanship and I basically judge it by the first guttural sound I make when I taste it.
Yeah.
It's either like, ooh, or or craftsmanship.
Yeah.
The next scale is uniqueness.
Okay.
And uniqueness is either 0, 1, or 2. And the uniqueness is basically bonus points. It's like, will I remember this or will I never forget this?
Right, exactly.
Because some beers are really good and you'll remember them forever.
Right.
And some beers are really bad and you'll remember them forever.
I was going to say, because I'm like, what if you had a beer you just hate, but you're never going to forget that beer? Because we have, Jared and I have one that we tried. We were writing C-Team one night, and we're like, oh, this is going to be great. The hops in this are amazing. We hate this. We will always go back to this beer time in and time out and say, we hated that beer.
Yeah.
Just utterly hate it. We drank that beer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
we'll never forget it.
Exactly. And that's a beer that you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
You're going to remember. And that's an important part of beer drinking also, is that beer is best drank with other people, best drank socially and talked about. The third scale is drinkability, and that's how much do you actually want to drink it and drink it again.
Right. Okay.
So we made up this scale while in Montana in a place where we were sampling lots and lots and lots of beers. So the idea of, would I drink this beer again?
Right.
When there's so many other beers to try, or so many other beers that may or may not be better.
Right.
Right? So then drinkability is like sort of a comparison against other. Would I drink this instead of another beer?
Yeah.
So some beers can also be super drinkable, but not very good.
Right, and that's super relevant for especially where we are in Seattle, because there's so many breweries, and each brewery is putting out a new beer probably once a month or twice a month. That's incredibly relevant, especially now, you know, in the craft beer industry.
And as I said, we were really honing the system at Kiss Cafe, where the whole thing, and I actually made a special version of this book that is their 99 bottles of beer list system. And the idea there is that they have those large bomber-sized bottles, and that's a commitment.
Right. It
And
totally
then
is.
Do you want to drink that one again?
Yeah.
In one night? That has to be really good, really drinkable to want to do that again, right?
Especially at the upper level price ranges too. I mean, there's some, bombers that are $20 plus, right? So it's like, okay, that is a real commitment.
Right. And especially if you're like going to have that by yourself.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty cool. So, you want to take us through the first session of this
Yeah,
one?
should we get a beer going?
Jeff, you want to do?
Yeah, I can pour.
pours?
What are we pouring?
That let's start not with that one.
Okay.
We usually start with lighter.
I need a
and go
Churchill.
dark. Is that right?
Yeah.
Here, I got one.
However we
Doesn't
want to
matter.
do it.
It doesn't
Once again,
matter.
it's all context, right?
Yep.
So if the second one tastes weird because the first one was weird, then we'll just note that.
That's impressive, Jeff. You
What?
have the credit card.
Yeah, I have one of these wallet ninjas that
I love it.
no matter at what any point I can pop a top.
That's
All
what
right.
I need.
I've been caught
That's
without a
how-
bottle opener too many times. So,
I usually
so
rely
we're
on
doing
him.
an India Pale Ale.
Yep, this is a Sun Chaser from Two Beer.
Well, nice.
Oh.
I do like two beer.
Wow, it's got a very kind
that's
of
fine.
pinkish color.
I don't need much these days.
It's got a very reddish. That must wait? Didn't we try this once before? This hibiscus,
Don't know.
hibiscus and orange peel. I believe when they were on, they brought some of these.
When two beer came.
Yeah,
came on
when
the
they
show.
were one of the visits.
Hibiscus and orange peel is interesting.
Why did you take the plastic glass?
I'm not special. I'm fine with plastic.
All right, this one. No, you report it. They're all foamy.
I didn't. This is from the bottle, Jeff. This is your.
Yeah,
doing.
that one's mine.
That's not.
That one's you repoured.
Yes.
All right. Do we need?
I need one.
All right.
Someone pass me. All right.
All right. So Adam, how do we go through the system?
So there's a very specific process.
This is really cool.
right.
I'm excited for
Because
this.
when I was doing this with my friend Wilder in Montana, we wanted to make sure that we were understanding our own thoughts and feelings before somebody else said, this tastes like crap. Then I wouldn't want to, have somebody else's opinion,
Yeah, influence.
color mine. So the first thing you have to do is take a sip of the beer.
All right.
And then don't say anything. Because you can't judge a beer on one sip. You have to judge a beer on two sips, at least. While you're pondering this, think about its craftsmanship, its uniqueness, and its drinkability. Abstractly, on the book. There's a scale.
And are we doing C, U, or D at this point? Or is it all kind of...
I'll walk you through the process.
Excellent.
Just take your second sip. And then this first time we're gonna cud this beer. Cud is also a verb, so you cud a beer. Look at the back of the book. It says craftsmanship. 1, this beer lacks intention or follow through. 2, this beer missed the mark. 3, the beer does what it intended. And 4, this beer transcends its category. So with this beer, would you tell us what this is, just so we know what
This is an IPA that's been brewed with hibiscus. Gives off a brilliant pink color. Jeff, you nailed it. And it's a new take on the West Coast IPA. It has Citra and Columbus hops, so that's going to give us a lot of citrusy flavor. They threw in some orange peel to kind of go along with that as well. It's going to be, this is about 7.1%. So it's going to be,
Sorry, I'm reading the directions.
it's amazing. Yeah, right? I am so excited for this. And the IBUs are at about 58, which is kind of right in that early stage range for IPAs as we know them now. So it's not going to be too bitter, but that's probably mostly to, maybe let the hibiscus kind of shine through.
Oh, sure.
And orange peel.
Okay, thank you for reading that. Yeah. So on the craftsmanship scale, what you're going to do is you're going to consider what you would give it from 1 through 4. Don't say it out loud. When you know what you're going to give it, hold your fist up like this. And Adam, would you just lean back a little bit so I can see everybody? So you're going to put your fist up like this. This is how you know what it's going to be. Then this is going to be, I'm going to show you it as an example. You're going to basically do rock, paper, scissors style. And on the third one, you're going to show, right?
Amazing.
Okay, craftsmanship. We all gave it a 3. We're not going to talk about it yet.
Okay.
Now, think about uniqueness. The uniqueness scale is 0, 1, or 2. So if it's 0, you just have a fist. Uniqueness. 0, this beer is not unique. 1, this beer stands out. And 2, I will not forget this beer.
Okay.
When you know what yours is, you put your fist up like this. We do it together. Okay.
Interesting.
Lots of 1s and a 2. So then look at drinkability. Once again, a 4-point scale. 1, I drank some and I don't want any more. 2, I drank it and I am content. 3, I drank it and I would have it again. And 4, I would like this beer again and again. So this, but let me just explain some of the context here.
Yeah.
Some people drink different amounts in different times. Some people go to a bar and they'll have 5 or 6 beers over the course of 5 or 6 hours. That's just how they spend their weekend.
Right.
Other people drink less often. You can interpret however you want to, because the real magic happens when we talk about it afterwards.
Right.
So answer however you want to for this. Fist up when you're ready.
Okay.
We all gave it 2. So now, add up your scores together.
Ha!
I give it a 7.
Give it a 6.
Yeah, I'm at 6.
I gave it a, what did I
I
do?
think you're also at a 6.
You guys all gave it the exact
Yeah,
same
we all
score.
gave it the
Do we all
exact same
do
score, yeah.
3,
The
1,
only
2?
difference was a 4
3,
for the
1, 2,
craftsmanship
yeah.
versus the...
No, I gave it a 3 for craftsmanship.
Yeah, I gave it a,
I gave it a 2 for you.
For uniqueness.
Yeah.
Because I'm
I did
drinking
1
it
for uniqueness.
at acquisitions and
That is pretty true.
Oh,
and
okay.
I will remember this beer forever.
This is every Tuesday for me, so...
There's nothing
So
unique there.
this is where the context of this would be really important to
Right, that's
consider.
fascinating, yeah.
Both because I might have been more harsh with my craftsmanship or more generous with my craftsmanship because there's lights and sounds.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
people
yeah,
around,
yeah.
Right? You know, so that's important that we consider it that way because I have lots of these books that I have made and filled out over the years. I actually keep one in my travel bag because whenever I go to all the PAXs or whatever, I
That's
try to
amazing.
seek out a brewery and go check it
Yes.
out. And I will have the exact same beer in different contexts, and it will be very different because I actually made these books for my friend Wilder's bachelor trip. We went back to Montana, back to all the breweries, and I made these specifically for his bachelor trip. And all of our beers were so highly rated because we were like, bunch of people having a good time touring breweries.
Right, we're never going to forget this, right?
Exactly.
Type of thing.
We also went to a lot of breweries in one day.
That's true. That is true.
At some point, your beers get better and better over the course of the
completely understandable.
Right. And once again, that's the context.
But it totally makes sense now too, especially going through it. When you say uniqueness, you were describing it as like, oh, it makes sense in the context. Well, you saying, okay, you're on the show. This is why I'm going to not forget this beer. That makes complete sense when you give it a 2.
Mm-hmm. I would probably give it a 1 if it was it's like got interesting flavors on it.
Right.
But what's useful about this system is that after you finish, cutting the beer, I can say, oh man, you gave this a 4 for craftsmanship and I gave it a 2. Why did we have that difference of opinion? So now that we've both put our opinions out there, now we can talk about it. And it's not a right and wrong. It's I didn't think this was very well made. You thought it was very well made, or vice versa. And we can talk about from a sort of as objective as you can possibly be while talking about an art.
Right. So lead us in that discussion with the C.
Yeah.
So
do we just go?
Why did you guys give it a 3 in craftsmanship?
I'm not necessarily a huge fan of IPAs. It's not usually my drink of choice, and that's actually why I gave it a 2 in drinkability. But I felt like it was really well done, and actually the notes are exactly as they're described on the bottle. Honestly, I think of hibiscus as like a tea or like a lemonade, more of a flavor. And when you smell it and when you taste it, it is exactly like that kind of like hint of hibiscus, like you would have in a tea, but it's infused into the beer. So I think they nailed it, and I think you can make flavored beers really poorly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of pumpkin beers wind up being like
chocolate beers.
Yeah.
Or
yes.
even
Yeah.
hibiscus
Or
beers.
yeah.
So I think this felt like it's a part of the beer instead of like a flavor that was added to the beer or whatever.
Right, and that was kind of the same for me with this. I'm not a huge hibiscus person, when it comes to almost anything besides tea. So for this to actually have that shine through and kind of blend well with the citrus, I'm like, okay, they did what they set out to do more than anything.
So I was actually going between 3 and 4 in my head a little bit, mostly because I am not an IPA drinker as well, and so I don't know that I can judge the quality of an IPA. So it's more about my comfort level with rating an IPA. Now, with that being said, it was almost a 4 because it is more bitter than I would normally drink, but whatever they've done to it, whether it's the hibiscus or the hops, it doesn't have that really bitter hop flavor that I associate with IPAs. So in some ways, for me personally, it almost transcends the category. But is that my weakness, or is it the beer?
Right. But the whole point is now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting. I gave it a 3 because when you said it had hibiscus in it, I was like, oh God, I'm going to hate this.
Right?
I gave it a 3 because
terrible.
I didn't find it repulsive.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is, it's a complicated beer. I like German style beers that have 4 ingredients and that's it.
Right.
It's my normal go-to if it has like
I like a good
coriander
simple
or
saison
something.
or something.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So this one with all the stuff in there, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I exactly.
I see that you have a copyright on these books.
I do.
Can people order these?
Yeah,
They can.
the chat's already asking.
So technically, I made these for my buddy's bachelor trip, and then I made a website, and I have a Twitter handle. So I work more than twice as much as I should for Game to Grow. So this is like a barely a side project. But there is a website, cudbeer.com, and you can follow on Twitter @cudbeer, which is mostly me going to breweries and taking pictures of beer. But check it out. And you can buy them online. My stock.
Is this all that's left?
You should reprint.
I will reprint. I'm actually looking into that right now, but I don't have a lot of stock left. So if you want to buy one, you can go to cudbeer.com. We have a Square store open. I promise on the website that I will eventually make a video tutorial. So I'm totally going to take this and make it a video tutorial.
yeah.
We can work out a
Okay.
rights and
That's
steal
great.
this
it up on
this
the-
whole tutorial. We can work that
Cud
out.
beer tutorial as presented
Yes.
by Acquisitions.
And if
Intoxicated.
you cud your own beer, please share on social media @cudbeer.
How cool is that?
CUDBEER.
So
I was just going to show the inside of the book is like a section for the
You
brewery.
want to get an overhead shot, Josh? We can.
Perfect. Oh, I hold it up. So there's like a section for the brewery where you can put in like the context of the visit and like what the scene is like, what the food is like, what the beer is like.
Awesome.
And then on the other side is all of your beers that you taste there. So you can list the title of the beer and style, and then write down your CUD score that
I'm putting that down right
rated
now.
this beer with. Right, which we could totally do right now. And then there's a little star that you can scribble in.
So this is because when we were traveling around all these breweries, there's some you might want to take home as a growler, or some you might want to remember to have again the next time you're there. So you can put a little star there. It's funny because it says flag and then it has a star instead of star and then a star, or a star and then a flag. But you want to flag it with a star.
The star.
we've all been trained by Gmail, which this works.
This is how I flag this.
But if you scroll back to the other, or not scroll back, lean back to the other page. Oh, it's I've been trained by Gmail. This is the page where you can put down where you are, because like I said before, the context of a beer drinking experience is so informative. What kind of food they have. If you just had a plate of jalapeno poppers, your beer's gonna taste different.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all of that. Or if it's the context, like it's your birthday party or something. Beers are either gonna be great because all your friends are there, or they're all gonna be bad because you're alone on your birthday.
Your directions are very nicely put on the
Right,
back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is the definition, but then on the back here is the directions for the.
Yeah, all the steps
I
we
feel
just
like
did.
a little like I'm doing an infomercial.
I know, right?
a little bit.
QVC this?
Yeah.
So, with uniqueness of this beer, I think we all went with, what, 1?
I went with 2.
You went with 2.
Because I'll never forget drinking
Right.
it on Acquisitions Intoxicated.
Right. And for me, the beer, I mean, it stands out. I mean, the citrus and hibiscus is just wild. And it's done, like we talked about before, it's done well to the point where it's not like, you're not jeering off of it.
Right.
So for me, it just stood out.
This is a beer that I might have again, but I would want to have again in a context of sharing it with people.
Right, exactly.
I think drinking that whole thing would be a little much for me in that.
But see, now that I know the point of the uniqueness, I might switch it to 2 only because this is the first time I've experienced the CUD system.
This is your first cutting. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's fair.
It's a
And
cutoff.
You are allowed to
Cutoff.
change your score,
Yeah.
especially after we talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my drinkability score from 2 to 1.
Yeah.
Because I have had
You've
a
had
couple
this
of
much
sips.
and now you're.
Probably that's enough.
Yeah.
So you can think about it in the context of
I'm going to put this
a
lamp back in the
taster
plastic
glass.
so we don't, because this
That's
is
smart.
very
You can think about it in the context of a taster glass. Like that's as much as I ever need of this.
Right.
And that's probably true for me on this. Or you can think about it in the context of a pint or a 12-ounce bottle of would I order this again?
Right.
Would I pull this off the shelf again? And this one, I think if I had it once, I think I'd be good.
Yeah.
I could split it with people.
Yeah, and I'm at 2. I'm like, I'm drank it. I'm content. I can recommend it and say, hey, it's a really cool expression of what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
what else does 2 beers have?
Right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't-
I would try out. It'd be really great in a flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would absolutely love this in a flight if I was.
It would be fun
2 beers.
to drink it and talk about it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, if I was at QFC later, I wouldn't go, oh man,
Yeah.
gonna grab that one.
Right.
Unless
this
I
is
knew
going to be
somebody
hit or
who was
miss.
excited about
Lambics
hibiscus or something. that I would
Oh right.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lambics are acquired taste for some.
Look at that.
So this is an
dark.
interesting beer in and of itself and how it was delivered. So we have one of the viewers actually comes down from Alaska twice a year. And he comes down and he goes to Micro Homebrew, the place where we get all the ingredients for over in Kenmore. But he goes there and he will pick up the recipes for the Ack Inc. beers and do 1 or 2 of the beers that we've crafted and go back up to Alaska. But this time when he came down, he brought down a couple beers for us to try, and this was one of them. Because we always said, okay, we want to
Oh, I
try and
hope
do
he's
some
not on the
lambics.
chat as we cut him.
Oh
it's
yeah,
not
I guess
him personally,
it's this
it's the
particular
brewery.
beer. Yeah, this particular brewery.
Yeah, Lambics are interesting. For me, they were a gateway beer
Yeah.
Have you ever?
because I couldn't
sure.
do the hops.
Well,
and
they're,
I had a
they're
sweet
so
tooth.
fruity
Yeah.
and so yeah. Have you ever done a lambic float?
Yes.
That's, that's a great experience.
Yes,
I
yes.
love that.
That's. But some people who are big beer drinkers hate Lambics.
Oh, I could totally
All
see
personal
that.
taste, yeah.
I think we might.
I
I told you I like beer that has 4 ingredients, German. So we're going.
All right. So
We're
talking,
going
right?
all the way away from that.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
to
we are.
sip and not talk, right?
Sip and not
Is that
talk,
All
yeah.
right.
I like to make faces when I sip.
Yeah.
my beer. Helps me ingrain into the experience.
Is this brought down in a crowler?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty neat, right?
I went to Montana again with my wife. My wife and I do this together. We
Yeah.
have a cud book that we only fill out together.
That's awesome.
And we have 2 different colors of pen that we
that's
so we
great.
can fill in the sections together.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
We went
That's
to
awesome.
Montana and I brought an extra empty luggage
Just-
so I could bring beer back. And I brought back 3 crowlers, an 8-pack, and 2 6-packs.
That's
all from
perfect.
different Montana breweries that don't distribute.
Beer's
That is
also
perfect.
it's also part of your anniversary too, right? The new-
We got engaged in Montana.
yeah.
Pretty
Not
awesome.
at a brewery.
No, I was gonna say next question. At the brewery? At a brewery?
After a brewery next to
tasty.
some
Was that
wolves.
was that beer
Wolf
good?
Sanctuary.
Well, that doesn't get much freaking cooler. All right,
I'm the only
so
one playing.
You're the only one, Jeff. I'm here with you.
I appreciate it. Otherwise, I looked like I was just
yeah, you
against
just
the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Against the man.
Ooh. I am so fascinated. Now, I already want to talk about this beer.
Right.
This is what this is doing. Okay.
Oh, are we doing the next unique?
Yeah,
Next,
we're
we're
on
talking
the-
about
All right.
This is uniqueness. This is just 0, 1, or 2.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Lots of variation here. That's cool. So now, fist up for drinkability. All right, so add up your score.
Yeah.
So I give it a 6, which was the same technical score as the previous one, but on a very different, in a very different way. I give it a 2 for uniqueness, but then a 2 for craftsmanship and a 2 for drinkability.
You give it a 2, 2, 2.
Yeah,
So you give it a 6.
I give it a 6.
I gave this one a 9.
Yeah, I gave it an
That's
8.
amazing.
I'm at a 4.
Surprised me too.
Yeah.
I'm at a 4.
You're at a 4?
You got a 4?
So let's talk
Yeah,
about
let's
that.
talk about it.
So
Yeah.
we can jump in wherever. I gave this a 4 for craftsmanship because I didn't hate it.
Yeah. And you were coming into this beer thinking you were this is gonna suck because it's a
Yeah.
lambic and I don't like lambics, right?
I'm not entirely sure what it is about lambics that I
Yeah.
often don't like. I think sometimes when a beer is like a sour beer or it's got that kind of funky vibe going on, I have to really be in the mindset for it.
Yeah,
like if I want a
absolutely.
Shiner Bock and I'm getting like a framboise or
Yeah.
something like that, it's like,
Totally
what is
different.
going
Yeah,
on?
yeah, exactly.
I think I was anticipating being sort of getting that shock from it.
Yeah.
But I was surprised. That was my whoa kind of vibe that I told you about. Like my craftsmanship was this is way better than I think any other lambic I've had in quite a long time because I avoid them most of the time unless somebody is selecting beers for me. What, you gave it a what for this?
I give it a 2. To me, it tastes like a fruit juice.
That's maybe what I like.
I
about
don't. I actually want. I want a little more
Like beer.
beer. To me, it
whiskey.
tastes like a bad wine.
Oh yeah,
Like a little bit of a bad
It is kind of
sparkling wine.
winey.
That's-
It
yeah.
tastes like a bad wine to me, and now it might be just where my palate's at today.
It's a little like Manischewitz, like very cheap wine.
I can totally see that too. I think I'm going to stick with my
It's
score
too-
just because.
It's way too fruit forward for me.
Yeah.
And it's so much so that I'm missing any subtleties that I would normally get in a. Now, to be fair, it's been several years since I've actually sat down and drank a lamb.
Yeah.
So, but that was my interpretation.
What did you all give it for uniqueness?
I gave it a 2 because of the lengths that it took this beer to actually get here and the
Yeah.
context in which it was delivered.
That's fair.
I think that's really neat.
I
that
felt similarly, yeah.
that really got me.
I was like, hey.
There's also something about the fact that it's in a crowler that might have changed the quality of it also.
Yeah.
Like that part of it, like it's not as maybe as bubbly as it would be otherwise. Or
Absolutely. It's not,
Let's see,
it's not
when
in the
was
7.5.
it? It's been a while since it was canned. It shouldn't make a
it should be
huge
fine.
difference,
No.
I have had crowlers in the past where I can taste the difference drinking it in the following week
Oh,
versus
yeah.
holding on to it for
I mean, that
3
happens,
months.
That happens with all different beers.
yeah.
sure. The way it's contained.
Yeah.
I thought it was. There's a uniqueness to it because it has kind of like a chocolate moat.
Yeah.
That I thought was very interesting. So it's like fruity, but with like a chocolate bitterness.
I give it a 2 once again because it was a lambic that I didn't dislike, and I'm on Acquisitions Intoxicated. So it's
Sure. Everything on this show is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's in a crowler that is really
that's
special. Like
pretty
that's one of
cool.
my
That's
favorite
pretty-
things is like the regional quality of
Right.
craft beer is such a fun thing. When you go to especially like a place like Montana, there's more breweries per capita than any other state in the country. So you can go and like go on a walk and go to it's like Ballard. Right?
Yeah,
you can go to so
exactly.
many different breweries, and the brewers are just back there. And you can talk to them. And when I was on this trip with Wilder, they would like saw that we were being really studied about the whole process and talking about it. They would often invite us back and let us sample from the grains,
Huh.
and let us taste from the
That's amazing, yeah.
the vats and stuff. So it's a really cool culture to participate in.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
the craft brewing culture. What about
Are
drinking?
you a plant from the like Montana State Brewery
No, just
Association?
lots of good experiences
I'm
there.
from Texas. I have no relationship
You
with
just
Montana.
like states with lots of open land.
That's true.
Well, you know, if you're going on vacation in it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, no, that's my favorite thing to do. Is go to the place with open land
And breweries.
and breweries.
Drink beer.
Open fields and growlers. What did you guys choose? What you chose for drinkability?
I gave it a 2 for drinkability. I would have such a hard time finishing this whole. I might have a hard time finishing this glass.
Yeah.
Like it is really strong. It's a super strong flavor. It's a like you said it's like very fruit forward, and then it has sort of a chocolatey bitter finish. And I don't really like chocolate flavors that much, so then there's an extra piece to it that is like this. The chocolates flavors make it a little harder for me to punch each sip.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I mean, for a lambic, it was a lambic. It wasn't as fruity as a framboise, so I liked the fact that there was a lot more sour in this beer. And I would drink it. I would drink it again. I gave it a 3, just because it had the flavors I was expecting, and they were done well. So I could easily have this again.
Yeah, I was like, it's fine, and I'll drink what I've got, but I wouldn't seek it out again unless if someone poured it to me, I wouldn't turn it down, but I wouldn't pick it off the shelf or say we should get this next.
Jeff, you said lambics was sort of your first.
It was, and I think it's also an evolution of my palate that's changed over the years.
Right?
When I first started, I couldn't stand hops. Every beer I tried, and now I was doing a lot of American Pilsners because craft brewing hadn't really, it would tasted to me like they had just soaked bread in water for a week.
Sure.
I did not get any subtleties. Now, that is probably an accurate description of most American canned Pilsners now anyway, but not the craft stuff, I'm talking the mass market stuff. But yeah, much like wine, my taste for wine are vastly different from when I started beer. Now, I'm like, this is too It's almost too sweet, which is crazy because I have a huge sweet tooth. I love ports
Oh, sure.
and things like that.
yeah.
But
Makes sense.
in my and even on beers, I don't usually go above a 30 IBU. It's just they're too bitter for me. I like to stay in those mid-20s. I like the blonde and the saison and an ale, or
My first beer, similarly, was the hazelnut brown nectar from Rogue. That was like one that I was like really into in my early 20s because it was like candy.
Yeah.
And now I can't drink it. It's too sweet. It's too nutty.
Interesting. So,
Fascinating.
this is a fascinating journey. I'm going to steal one of these books
Yeah.
Yeah.
and take it back.
This is so cool.
And then I imagine you're not going to have many left after this.
that maybe you have
Perhaps.
to do another
Perhaps.
print
I
run.
don't know what kvass is. I see a question on the thing. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, do we have some questions?
What's kvass?
Oh, actually, somebody had asked what makes a lambic? Like, what's the brewing process? Like
God,
for-
there is a lot that goes. I mean,
Blood of lambs.
That's what I thought. That's what I assumed.
Some pens, maybe.
actually,
yeah.
Jesse
Lamb and
Improved
Bic
kind
pens,
of
that's-
answered most of that in the chat.
Gotcha.
I'm out. I gotta go work. But you guys
All
have
right,
fun
fine,
making
get
the
back
next
to work.
recipe.
All right.
I'll be watching on the TV in my office and seeing what you guys create.
Yeah.
You
Sweet.
just breaking stuff over there. All right. Have fun.
Stuff
Thank you
breaking.
for introducing me to Cud.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks for joining us.
Context.
Amazing. Everybody, check this out. I can't wait to try this
Super
again.
Super cool.
That's so much fun.
I'm
It's
gonna
such
do it
a
every time we taste now.
you're gonna be
That's
you're
awesome.
gonna be cutting us all.
That'll be your
We'll do it on the show.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I think this is cool. So, let's talk about crafting a recipe. I figured, you guys run D&D games all the time. What is one of your most memorable characters you've either played as or created, or an NPC?
A memorable NPC.
There was the Russian airship pilot named Binlo.
So the context for Binlo. Binlo has sort of a like Eastern European kind of accent. He comes from the town of Ketlixiv.
Okay.
And the context was Binlo was created because the players had come into a town, and we named the town together, which is how the town became named Ketlixiv, which is an odd name for a town. And Binlo was the first NPC that they met, and Adam was sort of just making some stuff up, just
was
improvising
winging it.
in that. He was winging it in that.
Thanks, Absolute.
And he created Binlo in that moment, and then Binlo is the only inhabitant of the town of Ketlixiv and does everything. And he is the best hat maker in the town. He's the best librarian in the town. He wrote all the books in the library.
Oddly enough, he's the best at everything
He is
in
the
this
best at
town.
everything.
He's the
in this
only
town.
inhabitant
Yeah.
of Ketlixiv. And this was created because the players, who were, I think, 10 to 14 years old, went somewhere that I wasn't expecting. So I was expecting them to go one way, and they're like, I want to find this town.
Okay.
So I meet up the town and meet up Binlo, and then Binlo just sort of became this heroic NPC that stayed with them because he had an airship. Because, we needed an airship. So it was Binlo that could fly it. But
Of course,
Binlo,
he's best airship and
Best
captain.
airship
in
ever.
Ketlixiv.
Right.
he had hats made of bear fur that said "World's Best Boss," and that was another side business he had in the town of Ketlixiv because
World's best boss.
he was the world's best boss.
Welcome. You want hat? I make you hat.
Yeah, he wrestled the bears himself and then skinned them to make the hats.
To make hat. You want hat? I make you hat.
I think So I think it's decided we have to do a beer around the concept of Binlo.
A Binlo beer.
So, what kind of styles do you think would represent this character? Pick two styles, and we'll let the chat decide.
So I'm gonna throw out maybe like a brown.
Sure, but like the bears that he wrestled.
Yeah.
Or the hats that he might
Or
have
the
made.
hats that he made. As one possible.
What are our choices here? Do you have? Can
There's
you?
so many
can
choices.
you do
There's so many kinds of
We can
beers.
do anything we want.
Does the Pico do like lagers and stuff?
Yep.
Awesome. I'm gonna get one of these. And start putting money in a jar. So I don't know. Is there a style that you think would represent like sort of being a solitary person? Or
Okay, so not so much a solid. Well, yes, but the word solitary. We could do a smash, right? And a smash beer is you use one hop, one grain throughout the whole thing.
Whoa.
Because that's all you would ever have, right? If you were a solitary person, everything's alone. You're not mixing it with 5 different types of grains or 6 different types of grains.
I like that both as true to the character and also true to the beers that I like.
Because he's choosing the best grain in all the town because he grew it, and the best hop.
Best hop.
He
Best
grew it.
grain. Best beer. Binlo's best beer.
Binlo's best beer. I like that.
So I would say either a smash or the brown.
All right, should I make this into a poll?
Put it right into the poll.
Oh, sweet. So in the
Yeah, Tradius. I was thinking Russian Imperial Stout too, just because of the accents.
oh yeah,
That
also would have been pretty great.
I'm gonna know how to do this soon. And my choices are smash.
So and you can add a little descriptor if you want. It's single hop, single grain.
Oh my gosh, that's so much typing.
Put a little dash. Oh yeah, there you go. So in the story, the players wanted to explore the library to see if they had any magic books.
Yeah.
Like for learning new spells. And Binlo goes, "Oh yes, have best books. Have best books magic. Spell M-A-G-I-C, magic."
Were they all written by him?
Yeah, and the books just said magic. They were just written on the cover. It was just each letter written on the cover of every book.
Amazing.
Spell book, B-O-O-K, that's book.
Yeah, I spell book.
I spell book.
B-O-O-K.
Spell book.
Yes, you know how to spell book.
Also best spot. I like this character.
Yeah, it was
okay.
a lot of fun. Binlo was one of my favorite characters that Adam ever created.
There is that with a semicolon and then the following. And
I think you have to make it separate.
How do you do the multiple
We don't know what we're doing.
semicolon? Okay.
put a semicolon at the end of it. That I can do.
No, that was at the beginning.
Oh gosh. This is not my...
Welcome to the stream, where we are not fully sure how to operate all the technology.
Listen, we roll dice. You don't do technology. You know?
I do a lot of.
why...
We are actually starting a Minecraft group.
Really?
We have to buy all the
Awesome.
computers for the Minecraft group, so I have to figure out.
So it should be smash, semicolon, brown, semicolon?
Yes, you can just hit return after each one instead also.
Mmm.
Thomas?
Yes.
Were you going to tell us that? Let's see what happens.
It will either be
Did
a
the
poll
poll
with
start
only one
or
option.
no?
No.
That makes me feel better.
Okay.
Thanks.
Where's the start
Zero.
poll button?
It's right below the.
It was the big red one, right?
It's grayed out. No,
No?
it's not the gray one. It's grayed out because there's some sort of criteria that we haven't met for it to be a...
Type the question and then type multiple options.
Yep. What style of beer?
Let me just try.
So smash. Okay. Ah, there we go. You press return.
Oh, return. Go figure.
And we said brown for his. Why did we choose the brown?
for his hat.
No, but there was another reason. You had that you went for the bears.
Bears are sometimes brown bear is a type of bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always pictured his hat as like a brown bear.
Yeah, it was a brown. World's best boss.
World's best boss. Good World's best boss.
They still talk about him.
Whoa! Done.
Nice
Look
work.
at that.
So the
All right.
secret was pushing
The secret was
return.
enter.
Putting the word in, pressing enter, and then putting the next one.
Okay, so semicolons are really just a red herring.
Yeah, it's really just to throw you off guard, and
Okay, that makes sense.
we got to test you somehow.
No, that's great. I respond well to pressure. It looks like people are really wanting the brown.
This is an amazing
Yeah, this is
race.
Yeah, right. So this is super interesting. So it's either him being solitary in this place or the brown bear with the brown hat. This is
Yeah.
really cool.
It's like what defines Binlo as a character.
World's best
I want to
boss.
make
He's
I want to
one of
make
those
a bunch of NPCs using this methodology of voting. I want to like
Right.
Just
this is a
lay
whole
out
new
what's-
way to do the CUD system.
the CUD
book.
system, the NPC CUD system, the crowdsource vote CUD system.
Right for the
how it
NPC. Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Wow. So
Yeah,
they're
Brown
really
is
Brown is running away with this.
I'm gonna vote for Smash.
Can you?
I don't have a way to vote.
Yeah,
Just to keep the numbers
keep it.
democratic.
keep it close. You know.
Keep it
Yeah. Josh voted for you.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you very much, Josh, wherever you are. Josh. There.
I guess brown is mine. I should be competing with you. Look at me winning.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Although Russian Imperial Stout was probably the best choice.
That's probably true. World's best Adam.
That.
Yeah.
Damn. You know?
Claimed ahead of time.
Look at that.
I gave this a 2 on drinkability, and I am
You're the one still sipping through
at
it. I don't know. You might want to change that score.
I might need to go back and change the score.
This one falls under a category when we did I grabbed actually another rogue beer that was kombucha or kombucha. It was like a half kombucha, half beer.
Okay.
It falls under this weird category like a shandy or a michelada or something. It's like not really a beer. So it doesn't. This one is kind of falls in there somewhere for me too. It tastes kind of like sparkling wine. It needs a scoop of ice cream in it.
That would be great. I would, give me some vanilla ice cream in that. We're good. I think brown is gonna win this. Yep.
Brown's got the win. All right.
So now we'll pick our base malt.
Jesse, you're totally right. It is hard to stop drinking a beer. It's right here.
Yep.
I keep wanting to sip at it.
Oh, actually, so let's go through what we're going to pick for our ABV on this beer. So that'll be the next poll you create, ABV. So what, and typically in a brown, we're not going to be, way down by a lot of alcohol in this. Sure. The range is going to be anywhere from 4% up to 6.5%. So when we think of Binlow and this beer, what do we think the AB, what range, what we can always go above 6.5. There's nothing saying we can't.
So in my personal favorite, I tend to like higher ABV beers, which I don't know if that's flavor or if that is that I like the experience of drinking more alcohol tasting things. But I'm really tempted to say that we want to kind of stick on the lower end. I picture Binlow would be drinking this beer all the time. It is worthwhile to point out that in our campaigns, alcohol doesn't exist. So it's interesting to think like Binlow would be in like another place, and then would be drinking this beer outside of our world.
If he had to start a new town in the realm by himself.
Yeah. But I think he'd just be drinking it like as a water, as like a thing that he would
True,
just
like
be
medieval
doing.
style of replacing water with it.
Yeah.
Let's go a little alcohol that make it more sessionable.
Okay, so let's say a 4, a 5, and a 5.5 at most.
Four and 5 and 5.5.
Sweet.
Bingo. Start that poll.
Start poll. Now we know how to do it.
So, if it's at a 4, this is what he's drinking throughout the course of the day.
Right.
5.5.
I mean, that might be true no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what it's actually at. It might be the kind of thing he's drinking throughout the course of the day.
But the 5.5 might be something if somebody stumbled upon the village and he said, "Oh, try the best beer in town."
Yeah. You want best beer?
Yeah.
So the crowd pleasing 5.5. Yeah.
Have Binlow Brown. Best beer in town.
Best
beer in
best brown beer.
Kedlixen.
Yes, the only beer.
But
Best beer.
pretty much the
Binlow,
best.
best brewer in
Great.
Kedlixen.
Brown beer.
Brown beer.
Yeah.
You want brown beer? You want brown bear? You want brown bear hat?
If only you could put bear in the beer.
Bear. He's brown bear beer.
Brown bear.
Put the
beer.
hair.
Yeah.
Who do we get to go wrestle a bear? Yeah.
They make beard.
Rogue did it.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
could do that with
Beard beer?
beard yeast.
I want nothing to do with that, but it's interesting that they did it.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah,
Wait,
they
I
did-
want to meet the person whose beard yeast
It was one of the
used.
brewers. They
Yeah.
just-
He had some
just like-
yeast in his beard because he's been brewing for so long. That he had a unique strain of yeast in his beard.
That's pretty amazing.
The more you know.
Was he on the bottle?
God, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I want to see him. If I'm going to drink his beard yeast, I want to.
I want you to want to know where that yeast is coming
Yeah.
from. Let me tell you, you better. Whew. Watch out.
Yeah, this is like a.
Ooh, look at this is a fight off here. We're at 47 and 41.
Nice.
You don't want to know how the sausage gets made?
Oh God, no, God, absolutely not. I don't even want to think about the sausage while I'm drinking it.
There's actually a running joke in my campaign because they would go in town to town. There'd always be a thing that food product that town was very well known for, and there was always a reveal that it was like actually really gross.
Yeah.
So they went into this town, and one of my players was like, "I got to get the gumbo. The gumbo. This town is famous for gumbo." And I didn't plant that seed, but they all went and got gumbo. And they went into the kitchen, and then they saw the chef, and they asked the chef what his secret ingredient was, and he was like, black mold and cockroaches.
Nice.
Because I just wanted to get a reaction from my players, and they were like, what? Black mold and cockroaches, why? I'm like, earthy flavor. And, shrimp are
That's how you
expensive.
want your gumbo, is earthy flavor.
And then every town they would go into, they'd be like, is there a special food in this town?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's clam chowder. And they'd be like, okay, there's nothing weird in it? And the guy was like, no, nothing weird at all. And they had the clam chowder, and they're like, the secret ingredient is spider milk. What? Oh.
So literally, they do that from town to town. now.
And it was a running joke. Where they were like, "There's nothing weird in this bread bowl," or no, nothing weird in the bread bowl at all. And that was actually still the beard yeast for that.
Then you're just gonna have like one session. You're just gonna be like, yeah, it's just bread.
It's just bread.
It's like nothing weird. Literally nothing weird about it.
BLT.
This has salt in it.
Yeah.
It's an egg salad sandwich. Secret ingredient is
Yeah.
mayonnaise.
Really, they should go to a town where whatever the food dish is a really strange food dish. It turns out it's just a misnomer.
Yeah.
So SA put this in the questions. Bear derives from a word meaning brown,
Oh.
because ancient Indo-Europeans feared the bear so much that they used the brown one as a euphemism.
What were they distinguishing from that wasn't brown?
Right?
The other one, this is the brown one. What was the not brown one?
It's bright blue.
It was bright blue.
Yeah.
That seems much more
only
terrifying.
appropriate,
It was a meanie.
It's so much more. It's so much more unique.
Is this poll complete?
I think we're good on this poll. So
right,
that's 55. I think we
yeah.
got a 4%er.
4%, 16 votes.
It's gonna be very drinkable.
Okay, so 4%. Now let's talk about the color of this beer. These usually range anywhere from 18 to 35. So this is going to be a little harder to achieve in a. Well, actually, no, we're not. We're not doing Smash. Never mind. So 18 to 35 is the average range, and I'll bring up the SRM chart so we can see the colors.
Oh.
So with an 18, it's going to give us that golden color, where a 35 is really going to give us that deep, deep porter color. So what kind of range do we? What color? If we give them three choices to symbolize Binlow, where do we want to come in on this?
I feel like 18 is probably the lightest we could go.
So we'll say.
Oh yeah, that's actually the lightest we can do for the.
So 18 would be kind of the tan of his leather hat, I would think.
Yeah.
And then we could do maybe a 33 to give us that really bear, if we wanted to go on the bear side.
Yeah.
And a 26 or 26, 27 is going to give us that perfect brown. That's kind of a mash between everything.
I like that idea. The audience can really vote on like, is this going to be like a light leathery, kind of dark tan brown color, or is this going to be in the range of like really dark brown bear fur?
Orion had it too. Is this his hair or the bear's hair?
What's the bear's hair?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brown bear.
I do picture him having kind of dark brown hair. In my head, that's what he kind of has. So it really is.
I've never
It's a
pictured him
mix.
without his hat.
He's always wearing the big
bear for like a
fuzzy
Russian style.
Russian.
So did you grab that, start that poll?
Start the poll. I have 18, 26, and 33.
Cool. So at
dark is this?
18, it's going to be his leather hat. 33 is going to be more like the hair. And 26, we're going to blend everything together. The complete Binlow.
Middle of the road.
People like, you also said it was the perfect bear color. So,
I mean,
26, the
is.
perfect bear.
do you want the light one, the dark one, or the perfect one?
Yeah.
yeah, see, I only like one kind of brown.
That's the kind of brown one. I think it's interesting what determines the color. What
It'll
goes
be
into
so. There's an
determining
SRM chart, and it's basically the grains that we throw in there are going to have different ranges of color on that scale. So a roasted barley is 300 on the SRM, and I'll show you how that affects it. You only need to put like in the batches we make, we put like maybe 3/4 of a pound of roasted barley, and that'll bring it from probably a 5 all the way down to a 33.
Wow.
Whereas a pale malt, you could put 5 pounds in, and it's still going to stay in the 4 to 5 range. So it really depends on the grains you're throwing in there.
Does this then end up impacting the flavor of the beer as well?
Yep.
So like, which makes sense. Like add lighter beers that are usually the coloring of the beer has an impact on the flavor, or some determination on the flavor.
Exactly. Right? And there's enough malts out there that you can still derive. If you want it to be a specific color, you can still pair that with the flavor that you want. There's chocolate malt that'll darken the color and also give you a chocolate flavor. Roasted barley, where it's going to be more toasted coffee flavor, but still give you a darker color. So there's ways you can play around with that as well.
I had a coffee lager a little while ago that was like very light in color. It was like a 3 or something.
Yep, those are blonde stouts.
Yeah, but tasted just like coffee. That like dark coffee flavor. It was a super interesting contrast.
Yeah, we've done a couple, and they're pretty wild. You actually can throw cocoa nibs right into the brewing process, and that gives you that coffee flavor as well.
Oh yeah, that's super interesting.
I don't know. I think the perfect
one.
The perfect one is going.
Go figure, man.
Yeah, who would have thought?
All right, the perfect one, 26.
All right.
Brown beers are traditionally made exclusively from brown malt.
Yep. And now we will go to our bitterness. So these aren't typically bitter beers, right? They're going to be very smooth, very chocolatey, malty. We're just going to use the hops to kind of balance out the sweetness of the malt that we're going to see. So typically it's between 20 on the IBU and 30 on the IBU scale. The IBU, when you think of an IPA, that starts at about the 50 range. Most of the double IPAs that are super punch you in the face bitter, those are 65, 75 and above.
Sure.
So when you think of a classic German beer, that's going to be in the 20 to 30 range typically.
Sure. Yeah.
So where do we want to end up in this, with this kind of beer? We could say, I'm not going to say 25 is the perfect number, but it could be.
That could be the perfect number.
Or we could go really, since he is such this crazy character.
Yeah, he seems, Binlow seems so complex. He's doing so many things.
Right.
I almost feel like I want to go a little on the higher end. And I'm not necessarily a huge IBU fan, but like...
Right, so we could break the mold and say it's either 35 or 40 on that scale as well.
Which would be very interesting for a brown. And Binlow's an interesting, interesting guy.
We could definitely throw it up to the...
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, throw it up to the chat.
So
I would say 25 would be the perfect number, where, I say perfect in context of Binlow.
Yeah, well,
not
perfect
perfect for the beer.
What was the high end?
The high would be a 45, which is a very, breaking the mold. This is a unique character in his own unique world, in his own unique city.
Yeah.
And it's going to radically change this.
Do you want to have a third option here, 25, 45, and...
I think
we should do the two.
Do the two. I think that's really great.
The audience has to pick.
Perfect, or do you want fun and weird? Let's find out.
How does this selection really represent Binlow?
I think Binlow is very friendly. He's welcoming to everybody that comes to Kotlixiv. But
he's the most welcoming person there.
Yes,
he is. He's the friendliest person in Kotlixiv.
Definitely the best employer.
I think he's a strange guy.
Yeah.
And I think he doesn't always. He's not very well understood by the players. When they met him, Binlow turned to them and one of the players had a pet cat, and asked Binlow if he could make like a smaller version of the hat for the cat. And Billo responded with saying, "You want hat from cat? I can make hat from cat. Give me cat."
Mostly I make it from beer, but
I-
I can make it from cat. And the kid was like, no, that's my cat. You want hit for cat,
Het voert.
not hit from.
Not from
cat.
Oh,
You keep cat forever on your head.
How did they respond?
well, that player was not very happy. The other player thought it was
wonder why,
hilarious.
yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Look at this, 50-50. No goof.
Average.
Oh, man.
Man,
Split.
the fight.
It's so good.
I love it. I think it's neat because they're both. We don't lose either way, right?
No,
With this
no,
vote,
I think they're both
just the
good.
concepts are really cool to play around with. Like he's such a unique character.
Yeah.
So you go with 45, or his core concept is he's everything. He's the best. So
He's the best at everything.
It's
back.
It's back.
It's neck and neck. It's cage match.
Oh, man.
literally, he is the best even at these provoking
It's incredible.
polls.
Binlow, best poll provoker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Who's gonna?
Oh gosh.
All right.
It's 15,
That might need
13.
to be it.
It's 15, 13.
No!
All right. 20 seconds left on the counter. Get your votes in.
Yeah. This is the last. You gotta pull together.
All right.
What happens if it doesn't?
I don't know.
Has that ever happened?
No. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Oh.
3, 2, 1. Josh, I saw you put that last one in there.
That is a tie. That is a tie.
Oh, man.
I think this was our first 50-50 tie.
Yeah.
It's in true Binlow fashion.
Binlow is the
Binlow.
best
He's best.
at polls.
Best poll.
Yeah.
So how do you want to go with this?
I feel like we could say 35 as halfway between the two.
I like
we
it.
Could, I guess we could
I mean,
split
that's
the
one
difference.
up.
Best IBU. He is the best IBU.
He's
Or,
best IBU.
Yes.
I like it. We'll do 35 because that's the best between both of them.
Yes.
Perfect. It's still a little high for a brown, so we still get
fine.
to have a little bit of that.
Exactly.
A little bit of that fun.
IBU stands
Strength.
for International Binlow Umbrella. Umbrella useful everywhere.
Best.
Best IBU.
All right. Best IBU. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to look at grains in this. The first one is going to be the classic two-row. This is always going to, it's clean, it's dry, and it's crisp, and it's the classic grain that goes in primarily in most beers.
Two-row. Is that TWOROW?
TWO.
TWO.
Or number 2.
I like
No,
number two.
the two row. But not to row.
Or like, with a TURO, like as if it was a.
We do like two row, like a Tudor house or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Two-row.
Okay, what were we? That was the grain that we were doing?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
But we're going to probably pick from, so everybody's talking, base malts. We're going to use brown malt. That's going to be a secondary grain when it comes to this beer, if we choose to use it. So two-row, and this I would also say we could use Munich as well. This is going to be a little more flavorful than the two-row. It has a little more color to it, and going to give us a little more bread feel. So those would be the two, kind of going along with that brown.
I feel like sometimes when I drink browns, what I really want is like a lager or an amber. I sometimes struggle when browns are like really, really bready, and they like lose some of that drinkability.
So that's going to be that'll be the distinction between those two choices. The two-row is going to be much more lagery, where the Munich is going to give us. Munich is still going to give us. It's still the base malt.
Sure.
Where you get that breadiness is putting too much extra other secondary malts in as well.
Okay.
But Munich is going to give us a little bit more flavor. It's not going to be as dry and crisp as.
So is this the grains question, or is this a base grain?
This is base grain.
base grain.
Yeah, Freckenbauer, we can use Pilsner malt as well. Two-row and Pills.
As
will-
one of the other.
You can do it as a base
base.
grain, but two-row and Pills will accomplish the same goal. Pills is gonna be just a little more sweeter, but not much. That's where you're getting most of your lagers from, is Pilsner malt.
Gotcha. And the Pico can do like all temperature fermentations and stuff
Yep.
too, like even stuff.
Because you're doing the fermentation afterwards, so you just detach the keg and ferment it wherever you want.
Oh, wow.
So if you had a fridge, you throw it right in the fridge.
That's super.
It's amazing.
Because I really wanted to brew like one of my favorite beers is Shinerbach. Texas.
Absolutely, it's fantastic.
And you can't brew that unless you have the ability to chill it.
Yep.
'Cause it's a cold brew
Yep.
method.
It has been lagered. It's a fantastic beer. I've only found it a couple places in Seattle.
There's a great, not to plug it for any reason other than that we love it. There's a Texas barbecue place.
Yeah, Jack's.
Jack's.
I was
yeah.
having cigars with Jack Friday night.
He's a
so-
super cool guy.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
know him as well. That's such a fun coincidence.
Oh God, yeah. I've had friends come up from Texas. My buddy another Jack comes up from Texas for the PAXs, and we go to Jack's because it tastes like Texas.
Yeah.
Barbecue. It's
It's-
amazing
it's-
barbecue.
They also have really
authentic.
good pecan pie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they have Shinerbach, and I'm like,
Thank
thank God.
you.
It's pretty rare.
All right, I think two-rows stolen away with this one.
I'll take it. That's what I was hoping would win.
Adam, do you have a favorite barbecue place when we go to San Antonio?
I don't. San Antonio is not known for barbecue. San Antonio is known for Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
And I do have lots of favorite Tex-Mex
We
places
do have
in San
some favorite
Antonio.
Tex-Mex places. Will you be in at
Oh,
Tex-Mex?
yeah.
Yeah. We should all go to Tex-Mex.
I agree, because that is amazing. So now let's talk about some secondary grains. Freckenbauer, yes, the Germany trip is in the works. So we'll let you know when that happens. But, so number one on this list is going to be a brown malt. This is a UK-based malt. It's going to give dry. It's going to be same as the two-row. It's going to give us a dry, biscuity, but bring in the biscuit flavor.
Okay.
It doesn't. It's not. We're not going to put a ton of this in, but it's going to give us the color some of the color we want. But also, it's going to give us. Where was I going with? Oh, a more biscuity flavor, and it's going to allow us to kind of play around with taste more than anything else. So I would always say brown malt will be one of these, or we can go a different way and put in a crystal malt, and we'll put in crystal. This is going to give us a more caramel flavor. And what we'll do if we put in the crystal malt, then we'll add another color or another malt to add a darker color.
To bring the darker color.
Yep. So I would take
All right, so
those
we got
two.
brown and crystal.
Yeah. So the brown malt is going to give us that a nice biscuity flavor.
Yeah. They both seem very Bidlow, but I think if it was fully up to me, I would pick the crystal.
We have brown malt and crystal.
Because I think Bidlow is a little sweet.
I think he's very sweet.
I think he's like a very nice guy. He likes to get along with people.
He's got a heart of caramel.
Yeah.
Crystal. Crystal caramel.
Of caramel nuts.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Describe Bidlow as caramel nuts.
Oh. Speaking my language, people.
You're talking to me now.
I mean, not to influence the vote.
No, we don't.
And the influence of vote for Crystal.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm not saying you did. No, it's coming. It's
Coming back around. Now people,
It's reverse psychology.
yeah, now it's
Yeah.
the reverse
Vote
psychology.
for Brown.
Yeah.
You people who are voting for Crystal. You're gonna do what somebody tells you to do?
Vote for red.
Yeah.
Can't do that, can you? I can.
We didn't put
I've
it
got
on
the
there.
controls.
It looks like Crystal.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit it with the crystal.
Ooh.
Whoa!
Sudden shift.
A sudden shift.
I don't know. You think brown malt people? 3, 2, 1. Finish poll. All
Boom.
right.
Okay, so
Crystal
we're going to
malt
go
it
with
is.
crystal. So this is going to give us a nice caramel flavor into this. But we'll set it at a low crystal coloring. So there's on a scale, there's a lot of different levels of crystal which can give us more and more color. But we'll set it low for now because what we'll do is we'll add one more malt. We could go back, I'm going to say brown again. and we can add. That's going to give us a biscuity character. So it'll be
Now we have the
caramel and
and
biscuit. Yep.
together, yeah.
Or do we want to go with chocolate? Because we could do a caramel chocolate as well. How would you
That
just
sounds like good cake.
and
In my opinion, I think they're both good choices again. But
how would they relate to Binlo?
I imagine Binlo. So Binlo is a busy guy, and I imagine he would have more like breads in his diet than he would like chocolates or whatever.
I would concur with that. I would say brown. Also, we don't have quite enough brown yet. Going with the bear and the alliteration on the B.
Yeah.
Just
So
purely
being able to
from
say brown.
just more brown.
Yeah, more bee related.
Okay. So if we didn't do
Terms.
chocolate, would a roasted flavor work?
Oh yeah. I could totally see that. He is an airship captain after all, and that's got a very
Toasted
like,
oil?
mechanical or
Actually, hold on. Let me check
toasted
one
kind
thing.
of.
So would my options there be brown?
Brown and special roast. Actually, yeah, special roast is going to give us a toasted biscuit. Go along with the toasted biscuity character.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Brown and special roast.
Special roast will give us a toasted coffee-like flavor, and brown's going to give us
Those both sound really good.
nutty and
Yeah.
biscuity.
Something for the mouth feel. Beanlo's best at mouth feel.
Yes.
Feels his mouth. I feel whole mouth.
Then
I
you
feel,
must wash hands.
must wash hands.
After you feel mouth.
Feel mouth, wash hands.
Wash hands.
Yes.
Yes. Don't spread germs.
That's bad. Binlo, best hospital in town.
Yep.
But
Doctor.
best doctor. Wash hands all time.
Always
Never
wash
gonna
hands.
Always
stop.
wash hands.
Always wash hands. People like special roast.
Yeah.
The verdict is in.
I think special roast. I'm not trying to say what's going to win
I
this
don't want
one.
to determine it.
No, I'm going to determine it. Special roast.
But special roast.
I think special roast won it.
Special roast it is.
People don't like brown.
I think there's something about Binlo that really is very special.
All right.
Binlo is a special roast.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the hop we're going to put into this.
All right.
There's a hop. He is the best at everything. So he's going to select a single best hop, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of flavors would he be selecting?
This is tough because I have favorite hops, but I don't know if Binlo does. I like mosaic hops. I don't think that's good in this.
Mosaic is great. Could be good. And I mean, there's a local brewery that did a mosaic brown, and it was freaking delightful. It was mosaic and El Dorado.
All right.
Should not have worked. Utterly amazing.
I vote for mosaic then.
Okay, so that will be our unique hop for Binlo, right? Because he's a unique guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll throw in a mosaic.
Mosaic is one of those ones when I go to the store or I see the tap list and I see mosaic, I that's like, it will float to the top of my priority list.
Exactly. So we'll throw in mosaic as one of them. And what's going to be a classic, perfect hop that we would like to throw in for this? Would we do like a UK Golding, right? You know, a classic style Fuggles, which would be another classic, perfect hop for a brown ale. That's going to be very nutty and earthy in flavor. Freckenbauer suggests Hallertau, which is another classic noble hop that we can throw in there.
I don't know anything about hops, so those all sound great to me.
Okay, so Brewer's Gold. It's going to be pungent and bitter and sharp. Think black currant. However you pronounce that one. Sorry, I always pronounce it wrong. Or do we want to use that or a Fuggles?
Well, someone suggested a Russian variety.
Could do that. Well, we already got one of those. Orion Fuggles. Yeah. So Fuggles is going to be mild, soft, fruity, spicy, and woody.
Ooh, I do like
sounds
that.
on the
That
money,
sounds
I
off
think.
the money for
Okay, so let's do Fuggles and Mosaic.
All right. Is Fuggles spelled Fuggles?
Yep. And guys, everyone think of what we're gonna name this beer for Binlow.
Fuggles and Mosaic.
Could be.
All right, Fuggles taking the lead. Still out with a hearty lead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
right?
it's only increasing.
Someone asked
here we go.
if the other one was the first 100% to 0%.
Which one?
Have ever had the last vote round that we did.
Oh, well, I don't know. That's a really good question. I think it might. Josh, do you know the answer to that? I think it might be the other one that's only been 0 to 100.
Yeah, I usually try to mess it up, so probably the only one.
We closed it before you could get a chance.
All right, Fuggles. Fuggles is running away.
I mean, this is the best beer.
It is the best.
Bin will make best beer.
Best beer.
He's best beer.
Okay, we got a couple of people in the Mosaic camp.
Orion, yes. Best malt, best beer, best color, or best hops, best color. I agree.
He's best beer.
Beast.
He's made of all best stuff.
Yeast.
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 Beast yeast.
Yeast. Yeast. All right, I think we have it. I think it's Fuggles.
All right.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Fuggles it is. Oh, it's just like a
Sneak
last
right at
couple
the end.
of last minute people wanted that Mosaic.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So
Wasn't
what are we going to name this?
Someday there will be a Mosaic beer. I will drink.
So the story of Binlow, as you guys are coming up with names, eventually, so he made an airship,
Yep.
which all the players got on, and they traveled on the airship, and they traveled to a desert all together and fought some skeletons. This was all in a plot line. This is actually a plot line that's going to be in the Critical Core kit.
Awesome. Very
I'm
good.
not sure if Binlow's going to make it into
We weren't sure if Binlow himself will make it in, but the rest of the plot
will,
will be there. The
One second. I would get your poll set so we can start writing these.
oh yeah,
I think BS Beer is probably right on the ball, but bare minimum.
there. Oh, that's pretty good.
All right. What was the first one?
So
BS Beer.
Byest beer.
Biest.
I like the long
Oh,
name.
that is
Binlow's
auto-correcting
Byest
to
beer.
a different
Yeah.
word.
Bear brown beer, but that could be like the long version.
Yeah. the quad B.
Yeah.
Beer necessities. Awesome.
What is it called? There's a kind of beer that's like a quad or a
Yeah, quad.
yeah
Yeah, Belgian quad.
Belgian quad. Yeah.
So I have Biest beer.
Barely a beer. So BS Beer.
Is barely spelled, is that a pun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeast Beast.
Oh.
I mean, you can pick the ones you want to be in the poll. So you know.
Yeast.
All right, I have Biest beer and I have barely beer. What's next?
Beer minimum. Which ones do you have?
I just have Biest beer and barely a beer.
Bin Low.
Bin
like
Low.
BEN Low.
Bean low. Bean low.
Hop Kong Revolution.
Burley brown beer.
The beer necessities. I like it. I agree, Orion. It does sound fur on your teeth. That's
I'm putting that in there.
Hardy.
Yep.
That's hardy.
that's chewable.
Yeah, this is a chewy beer. Maybe it's like a beer hat kind of pun. Binlow wears a bear hat. Mm-hmm. Bear beer hat.
A bear beer hat.
Bear beer hat. Hat.
It's like when you haven't brushed in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Binlow's bear beer hat. Is that what you said?
Oh.
It's going in there.
Oh, sure. I just came up with that.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I just,
I mean, hats off. That's a good one.
hats
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Is there a point at which there's too many in here?
I would do 5.
This is it then. I have hats off, Biest beer, barely a
Resurrection
beer.
stew.
What was that?
Resurrection stew.
Resurrection stew. I've got fur on your teeth and Binlow's bear beer hat.
Perfect. Call it.
Starting poll.
All right. The best beer.
Biest beer.
Barely a beer. Nice. Fur on your teeth. I like it. Binlow's best beer hat.
Byest.
Hats Off is good too. They're all great.
Yeah, these are
I don't think we can lose with any of these.
Yeah. Byest beer.
Byest beer.
Yes.
I do like Byest beer because then Binlo can say like, "He's best beer."
Literally,
He's best beer. You want beer? He's best beer.
Best.
He's best.
Best beer.
Binlo make best beer.
Best beer.
I think
Only beer.
Only beer.
he doesn't say that, right? Well,
In the
yeah.
world.
It's the only beer in the world.
That's true because beer doesn't exist in this
Yeah.
world. So it's
So literally, he has conquered the realm yet again.
unbelievable. Binlo is the most amazing.
I would say he's the best.
He is
the best. So, some might say, including himself.
Yeah.
World's best.
World's best. World's best boss.
World's best beer. Boss.
I think, I'm not going to say, I think Byest beer, we'll give it another 10, 15 seconds.
All right, barely a beer. It's got a
It's
couple
not
of votes.
best beer. It's Byest beer.
Byest.
Yeah.
Byest.
Well, no.
Yeah, everybody in town says he's obviously.
Everyone in town says is best beer.
All right, 5 seconds. Do. Hit that button. It is Byest beer.
It's
Byest.
the best beer.
It's beer. It's Byest.
Well,
That's it.
gentlemen, congratulations. We've crafted a
We
beer
made a
with
beer.
the help
Awesome.
of our chat.
That's
and
amazing.
I think once it's done brewing, we have to come back and cud the hell out of it.
I think that we
would love
might
that.
need to do that.
How cool would that be?
That'd be
I
awesome.
I am
yeah.
so excited, guys.
Super cool.
Thank you for joining us. This has been really, really fun. And Adam, thank you for bringing this. And finally, I'm so excited to go through this process.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Game to Grow and the Critical Core system and cud.
Yeah.